Just stay focused. Waiting to get in this game, can barely keep up with the reasons. Been focused on eating and keeping my family together. He knows some I no longer reason, still holding no grieving. And striving to get to a place where they see that we overachieving. Holding no secrets, giving to all of my peeps in the gutter who struggle for decent. Puzzling pieces, trying to put them together. You know how they trying to hide it in times of silence. The hood be looking real hungry, you know they reside.
All right, welcome everybody. Had a little technical difficulties, but you know about the last couple chapters. You're supposed to move with fluidity and get it done regardless. What is this? What is this, bro? What is this? Okay, so we reading the 50th law. We on chapter 5 right now, which is called know when to be bad, aggressive. Message. All right. Well, I'm Dre. Represent generation millennials. We the millennials over here. Yeah, my OG, aka my mama, Dr. Nichelle, Dionne. Represent Generation X. And bro, represent Generation Z. Don't mind him. I don't know. I guess I started off. I think this and the last chapter was probably was the biggest one. But this one hit close to home because I know, like myself, I'm known as a nice person. You feel me? I have been told I was passive aggressive quite a few times. I didn't even notice it until I was reading it and seeing certain things that was going on. But I guess I'm gonna try to start off at the beginning. I know he was talking about 50 Cent when he was first got out of jail, and they had like when he had went in for a year, when he had came back, everybody had their own block, maybe 2 blocks, and it was the way to keep the peace and where everybody make money, everybody stay out away from one another, and stay low key from the police as well. So basically, you got this block, you got these 2, you got this one, you got this one. So it was hard for him to get in and actually take over like he wanted to. So you had to come up with a whole distracting scheme to actually remove the competition and actually get where he wanted to be.
He was grinding.
Yeah, it was.
He was grinding.
It's a hard world. Gotta be grinding.
I know, but I mean, what if what happened to the guy he talked about in chapter 4 would have happened to him? That's what I was reading. I was like,
I was thinking that too. Like some of these chapters, I'm not gonna say contradict each other. It's kind of like 48 laws of power. Like some of them go against each other. You just gotta know when and how to use each one. Cause yeah, he could have easily got killed.
Right. I'm like, he did like I said, not having the fluidity was not in there. So when I was reading, I'm like, didn't he just do the same thing that he told the other guy not to do?
Not to do, yeah. And I guess he did it in a smarter way, in a way.
Yeah, I guess he learned by the other guy's example. He's like, okay, I'm not gonna do it this way. They're not gonna know it's me. So he did a
exactly.
You know how cats end up coming behind people and then slap them, and you don't see the cat do it, and then. So
or even in football, they'll push somebody, and then the ref always see the reaction, so the other dude get the flag. Right. You know, like.
So he did it more of a covert way of doing it. They didn't. He had somebody else do his dirty work, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody else do his dirty work, and I was like, okay. So he didn't get his hands dirty, which is part of 48 laws of power. He said, let your enemy do your, I forget which one it is, but that's one of the 48 laws.
Yeah, like let them do your dirty work or whatever.
Right.
Like
so it's like
the things 50 was doing in this chapter kind of showed power, taking control, doing everything to get to it. Like he's the kind of person that'll keep a stale poker face until he wants to make you react. Then he'll do something to make you angry and then sit back and laugh at it and go, I can't believe I have this much control over somebody.
Yeah, and that feels good when you do that. It does feel good when you do it. When you pushing buttons and you know you pushing their buttons, but you're not even emotional. Like, yeah, and they just
Yeah. And it's like
It's like when I worked at a help desk for the Marine Corps. Some of the Marines would call in so rude and mad for something that I had no control over, and I would just talk nice and sweet and extremely polite, and they would get so upset.
yeah, I feel say it worked both ways too. Like when they trying to push show buttons and you don't allow that.
but then knowing how to keep the security by also controlling other people, to where if that person that you're over here playing with wants to come at you, now those people you're also like it goes full circle. That's really why 50 survived so long.
Yeah. And this is the chapter where Ja Rule was introduced. A lot of us remember Ja Rule when things was happening, when all this stuff.
Would I be without my baby?
You did that too perfectly.
But yeah, like I just like Ja Rule, man. Get off Rule, man. Get off Rule. But I know when he was like what he was talking about. Well, I guess I'll give a quick rundown. When everyone was trying to keep the peace everywhere, it was somebody he had met while he was like taken away for a minute, who was a part of this like a notorious group that was known for jacking people. So he hired them, the crew, to go around and jack everyone on their blocks, like jack everyone, and he even got robbed himself. You know, like jack everybody for their stuff. So the deal was he keeps the drugs, and the Jag Boys keeps the jewelry and the money. So that satisfied him and them, and it got the enemy to the point where they felt like they had to carry a gun for protection. And while doing that, if you do get stopped by the police or anything, if you are a felon, if you have guns, and you have the like drugs and stuff, like you doing hard time off top. So when that happened, and then everybody started laying low, the only way they can actually sell their drugs was like via beeper. And while this was happening, he had their drugs and getting extra stuff. So the things he was supplying, he was giving them extra on top. So they was always coming back. So basically he just took over the market by drowning everybody out. They were so concerned about these Jag Boys that they didn't even know that they was slowly being taken over. And by the time they had realized that, it was too late. Mm-hmm. And during this like jacking stuff, I guess they had jacked Ja Rule at the time too. And then they had said he ended up seeing Ja Rule somewhere. And this when Ja Rule was like first popping or whatever. So Ja Rule was actually in something, and he was actually allied with a big criminal organization as well.
Oh, with Supreme?
Yeah, with Supreme. So then he ended up seeing Ja Rule, and he had thought Ja Rule was finna come over there and say something to him or try to start something, but he just basically looked away and ignored him. And from there, he was like, okay, like you ain't even no real gangster. So that's when he had came up with Wankster, which is for wannabe gangster. Y'all know the song, no, gangster, but you never pop nothing. You know what I'm saying?
It's like almost like once 50 realized that Ja wasn't who he said he was, that's when he had as much fun as he could. To this day, it's ridiculous.
Right. Recently, did he have a concert and 50 end up purchasing all the seats?
He purchased like all. He was like, you go get paid, but you ain't gonna be performing in front of nobody. That's like the ultimate petty move. Like that's.
Yep.
But basically, what I was getting from this, like, is like basically sometimes you can't be too nice all the time. And I say it's a difference between being aggressive and getting you want versus being just like a disrespectful bully.
Right.
Because I believe that'll get you knocked out quick.
Right. You got to know how to have your finesse. You got to, what happened?
It's not you have to know when to do it. I mean, yeah, what did happen?
What, the light went off or something?
Like the
Right, back.
but it's like when it came down to it, it's like kind of like when I'm playing the game. Like sometimes you have to know when to walk, you have to know when to crawl and when to run. You have to know like, okay, now this is happening. Like with him and Jaw, he's like, all right, Jaw's real popping right now. I'm not known. Now I know what Jaw is. I know a secret about him. So now I can keep pressing his buttons, which he did. He kept pressing his buttons, kept pushing, kept pushing. He said, oh, Jaw isn't budging. Let me go after his record label and talk about them and see if they budge. And then once Jaw finally buzzed and made that diss track back to 50, 51. Because now he got attention and he got noticed by Jaw's fans. And just that quickly, Jaw wasn't able to keep up. So the tides have turned. Now 50's the big man and Jaw's fading out.
Right.
So like he knew exactly like.
I mean, do this generation even know who Ja Rule is?
I've heard of him.
I've heard of him. You see that? I mean, I was bumping them back in middle school. Holla, holla. I mean, he had them love songs with Ashanti. He had the song with J-Lo.
Yeah.
But he had a lot of hits though. Even when they was talking about like if 50 and Ja Rule did a hit for hit battle, like Ja Rule would still win. Yeah. Like in actual hits. Now money wise and business wise, like 50 got that like hands down. Because like Ja was hot probably from like let's say like 2008 to like 2003 maybe. He had like a good 5-year stint. First time I heard him was on a Jay-Z song. You know what I'm saying? Like a Jay-Z song that was on the first Rush Hour soundtrack. That Can I Get a what?
I feel like the most recent memorable thing about Ja Rule is the Fast and the Furious.
Oh yeah, he was in the movie. Yeah.
He was on that Monica. He was doing all that.
I wonder if he thinks back in retrospect and saying, okay, you know, what can I do and all that stuff like that.
No, but 50 was smart though, because like when he got the people who he was messing with involved in it, they was under investigation. So anything Ja Rule like even like said about anything, like he's probably finna get whacked by his own people. You know what I'm saying? Like they like, boy, you better shut up.
He played chess.
Like the whole Irv Gotti thing, like the whole Murder Inc.
Yeah, he did.
And the one thing I feel like that he showed is that even though he knew when to be bad, he knew when to be the aggressor or passive aggressive. He wasn't angry. And now if he would have done that and been angry, then he may have lost.
Yeah, he is like he don't have no type. He don't have any type of emotions, but he know how to create the emotions to make sure people get emotional. He don't have the emotions, like he don't have them.
It's called being a sociopath.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to think. That's the word I was trying to think. He's a sociopath.
And like it's almost like looking at someone's eyes with a straight face until they connect with your eyes, and then you make a mean face, and then watch how they react to it, because they're going to react.
I'm gonna try
that. You mama though, we automatically gonna be like. I know like another thing I had got out of it though was like if you are not like I got a friend who's real aggressive, and I think he's just naturally aggressive and don't even know it sometimes because he be think people be trying to punk him, and like that don't be the case. he's like oh, I guess that's what happens when you go to jail or something. You just don't think everybody out there. But it's like if you try to out aggressive the aggressive, you're falling in their hands.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to find a more slyly way to do it. Like, especially extra aggressive people, you ignore them a lot of time. That gets on their nerves. I found out.
This is your chapter, isn't it?
Of you.
If someone's overly aggressive, you got to do the opposite. You got to start with the opposite to counter.
Won't they say stop patronizing me?
Yeah.
They get much angrier if you're doing the opposite. You got to know how to do it the correct way.
Because it's like they're already aggressive, so doing the opposite is gonna just make them aggressive. So then you start knowing which way to move along the personality chart to meet them and win.
So you're doing the customer service way. They come with you aggressive, you still being nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because eventually, just imagine like an extra aggressive person like going off. You like, all right, whatever, fam. All right, whatever. And there's people around, like they start feeling embarrassed because one, they're not getting that reaction out of you, and it's making them look stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like it makes you look a certain way if you over here rah 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 and nobody's paying you no any attention. So you just like not getting the reaction from anything. So it's just different ways of playing parts, like um and then sometimes it's just tell from your demeanor off of it. Like I ain't gonna tell a whole little story. But I'm one time, like this one dude, he had owed me some money. You know what I mean? So time went by, and I basically I was like, man, when I see him, I'm gonna get at him or whatever. So when I actually end up seeing him, I was like going to an after hour spot, and it was just me and my dog, whatever. And I end up seeing him, and he was like by a car, like almost by the entrance, but he was with like a whole bunch of people. It was like 15 of them or whatever. So they was like deep, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not stupid. It's different between being gangster and being stupid, you know what I mean? Like, so he had like 30 some odd dollars in his hand. He was counting. So I just walked up to him. I didn't even tell my boy because my boy probably would have been on some dummy already. So I'm just like, hey, I'm like, I tapped him, whatever. He looked at me like, I'm like, that's mine, right? And he had looked back at the little crowd, whatever, like who he was with. He like just gave it to me. You know what I mean? So then they was like, hold on, they looking like, well, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Like, he was like, yeah, I owe him something, whatever. So then they like embrace us. Like they like, come on, like, well, we're finna go up in the after party, whatever. Like, you can skip the line with us. We got the bottles, all this, whatever. So we a little hesitant, whatever, because we don't know what's about to go down. But like, I don't know, we end up going in there, like, skip the line. We got free drinks, everything. We weren't kicking it with them or nothing, but we still had like a free night, basically. I had a whole free night, whatever. And I still got something out of them. And then when I end up seeing them like down the line after that, because my mind was still on like getting them, whatever, I like seeing him, he was like doing extra bad. Like it was like he was killing himself already. Like I don't need to do nothing, you know? Like I don't even need that.
But yeah, that's how I guess that's how it is when people. That's why we were taught never loan anything out that you can't afford to lose.
That you can't afford to lose, yeah.
I mean, you want your money back, but still, don't loan it out so you can't afford to lose.
Yeah.
Now it's a funky $20, huh? Now it's a funky $50.
No, and actually I do. Yeah, and that's what I do when somebody wants to loan some money. I loan a little bit of money to see.
Yeah, just to see.
How they on their then later on I'm like, wait, I just lost $40. I'm good. Don't worry about it.
I don't loan out money.
Huh?
I don't loan out money.
You don't loan out money?
No.
I mean, when I have friends, I got friends.
Loan it out unless you go for it to lose it. Like I just loaned out some money last week. I got it back like 2 days ago. I forgot all about it. I mean, I just look at my cash app like, oh, whoa, okay. Like they ain't even say nothing about it. I mean, they ain't even like say nothing to me about it. And then I'm like, oh, okay, like, that's what's up. You know what I mean?
You don't want
they gave me a little extra.
Right.
Like one thing I feel like one person I feel like is real good at the knowing when to be the aggressor part is the baby. The one with the gold grill. He about 5'8".
You up here describing them like eHarmony or something. 5'8". It's tall.
But like if you see like some of his live videos and like if you were out here when he came to San Antonio, compared to his other shows, it's like he makes a lot of gangster music, and even if he isn't the biggest gangster or the biggest stud, he knew what to do in the crowd. Like you can see one video to where someone's out in the crowd and they look like they're real rough, they're real tough. He jumps right off stage, goes right to their face and keeps rapping, and the guy keeps rapping back with him, and he's like, "Yeah, look me in the eye, keep rapping, keep going. All right, let's move." And like, knowing when to be that way and when not to be.
I'm looking at page 127. Okay, you already said to postpone or avoid conflict, but okay, let's go over to 128. It says It says when your main goal is to be liked, which becomes kind of a defensive shield. So much passes for good and nice behavior, based on I don't know why I put this, based on your deep fear. So our main goal is to be. So do you believe? I don't care about being liked. So do you believe it comes mainly with age?
Yeah, it definitely come. Like, I know the older you get, the more stubborn you get. Like I get told I'm stubborn all the time,
No, you've been that
and
since you was a kid, so.
but like I mean, like one thing, you know, like I am a nice person, but like everybody know, like Draco do what Draco want to do.
Right.
Like even when I'm at work, like even like one of my first leads telling me, he was like, do LSA, because they don't like in the workplace, they don't like conversation like that. But it's like he was like LSA. I'm like, what's that? He's like, listen, smile, agree, and then do whatever you want to do anyway. You know, like it's basically finna get you there regardless. So like even when I was talking to my manager probably like a couple months ago, I think after that George Floyd stuff happened, and he's white or whatever, but he was trying to understand or whatever, trying to get understand. It's the first time I've ever had this happen like ever in life.
At the company, they're talking about that's going on a lot at companies.
So like he was like what is it like this that, and I'm like first I was like if I walk into a room, like if a black man or a black person walk into the room of all white people, they automatically stiffen up a little bit. You know what I mean? Stiffen up a little bit. So I come in there, so I got to smile. You know what I'm saying? To give him the okay, he's a regular person. You know what I'm saying? Like that. It's like a kind of a defense mechanism as well. You know what I mean? It's like so y'all don't get y'all something aimed at me already, because a lot of times like if we put in a position, we got to prove we can do it. They got to prove that they can't do it.
Right.
You know, like it's like a different way or whatever. That's why like
we got to prove we can do it, and then they have their potential. Oh, they potentially can do this, so we'll go ahead and bring them in. But then we have to prove that we can do the particular task before we even join the team.
Right. That's kind of like a little, I guess, like a kind of a defense mechanism as well. I'm not necessarily gonna say it's like being liked, but it's like getting everybody else guards down.
Right.
To like at least try to normalize the situation, or at least to some type of like some certain extent.
Let's see. What page y'all on?
Oh, like you were on 127, wasn't you?
I'm on 129 now. Where y'all?
129. So
my thing is, whenever I'm working, I'm very passionate about what I'm doing, which I think makes me great at my job. But sometimes my passion, I feel like, comes off as aggression, just because I'm like a woman of color, and it's like, no, I'm not aggressive, I'm passionate.
Right. Yeah, and I put this when we do it, we look at aggressive or the angry black woman, not being someone who's trying to be passionate and doing what we need to do to be competent and proficient at our job. We can talk to somebody a certain way. They're like, oh, she's angry. No, I'm not angry. I'm just explaining. Because I had a particular guy I was working with one time, and I'm like, this is what's happening, blah 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 blah, and this is where I'm talking. And he end up saying, yeah. I was like, I know I didn't roll my neck because I don't really know how to roll my neck the right
way. like did you read the well we all read it, but you know the part right there on 129 to 130, Richard Wright, and how 50 told the story about Richard Wright and how he's like the first African American bestseller, and it's the one part on 131 after the story, and he says, when you submit in spirit to aggressors or to an unjust and impossible situation, you do not buy yourself any real peace. And like all of that kind of really explain what happens in life. People will take from you if you allow them to take from you.
Right.
And they'll do it until they'll do it until they can't do it no more.
And I wonder if that's because they know that person is a pushover? It's the way you walk tell a person you're a pushover, or the way you act does it tell that you're a pushover or something? I'm wondering because people are not aggressive, but I see people who are getting pushed. I'm like, hey, why she let him do that? Why did
It's
he?
almost like once I feel like once someone realizes, because kind of how he said on page 125, the kid in high school that doesn't want to fight is gonna run into trouble basically. So it's basically the same thing that they look
But
at
would you have a
introverts.
posture? I mean, you have that one. I think you have that one fight in high school or elementary school, and then nobody mess with you anymore. But you meeting more people. But is it a way that
Yeah,
you carry
yeah.
yourself?
I think I had like, well, I don't know, when I was young, I fought like a lot more. It was like one good one in high school, like
Yeah, one in the second. What's it? The second grade when third grade. I remember because the big guy, the what's I forgot the guy name. He was like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
305.
It was like a big one in third grade. I know, like we used to like do a lot of little stuff in like sixth grade, like on the bus and all that.
I remember that Randy told me about that part.
Like and I know, like in high school, like it was like, yeah, it was like one good fight. I mean, like it was a lot of stuff I was like a part of, or like brawls and stuff. But as far as like just one-on-one fights within school, I mean, like
So do you have a different posture, a different stand? Do you carry yourself differently than somebody who has never stood up for themselves? I'm just wondering if it's because you meeting people that you probably never met before, but no one's still gonna approach you.
yeah, I don't know. It's and then like you don't know people's intentions as well.
Right,
I guess kind of all these like kind of go these chapters kind of like blend into one another.
right.
Cause I was thinking about that even on my path, like I was reading the passive aggressive stuff,
Yeah.
and I'm over here like, man, I do stuff for me. I mean, for like because out of kind of my heart, but in my head I'm thinking like, nah, like they probably owe me something now. You know what I mean? Like in my head, like do it like even if you have somebody around you that think they did you over, and like you keep them around, like they steady feel like they owe you something. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if you like been around like people like that, or
Mhm.
like they automate they think they always owe you now.
So
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
that's
almost
something.
like it's almost like human nature.
I'm sorry. Okay, go.
But it's like I feel like everything is implanted. It's human nature. Everything's hardwired in your head to act or react a certain way. So as soon as you lend someone something or do something for somebody, even if you do it out of of your heart, in the back of their subconscious, they're thinking, I have to do something back so that I can keep this relationship solid, even though you may not be thinking that.
Reciprocity, the law of reciprocity.
Called, it's like it's a step of manipulation. So it's like, okay, it's like I'm gonna do this because everything has a reaction. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna do this right here and say that I don't want anything back from it, and they're gonna react one way or another. Even if they react by saying, okay, well, whatever, you don't
Okay,
want
mute
nothing
yourself
back.
again. They're gonna up. There you go.
Like if you're like, oh well, I don't want nothing back, then at that point, they're gonna still come back around and be like, okay, now I need to do this. It's getting inside of their head. Even if someone, it could be the biggest bully that's really huge and has a crazy huge posture, but at the same time, that same bully was actually the one that was being bullied at home, and he's really a bit softy. So it's
Right.
all lies in the mind.
So you have to mute yourself if you delay it. Again. There we go.
But that's kind of how I see it. Like to your question about is it about posture or anything? It's like not really. I feel like the person that looks like they're the most cocky person is the person that wants to fight is gonna go up to first, because he's appearing as I can do this. But then intellectually, the person that has control over the mind has control over everything.
Right. I like going on. Probably y'all probably gonna go back to it, but it says talking about Franklin D.
Roosevelt.
Roosevelt. He was talking about he did certain things in indirect. So he let the aggressor be aggressive and he used it
Everybody
against
like him,
the
they
aggressor.
stupid.
Right. And I was like, that's how judo is. The judo uses the power from the aggressor the martial arts. So
You use it against them.
right. So you end up using certain things against them, which is so you think you are I don't think you are passive aggressive. Maybe I don't see it because I'm your friend see it.
I don't think I am either.
I don't think you, but I can notice as soon as I notice a passive aggressive person, I don't talk to them anymore because the things they're being manipulative on certain things. They're trying to bring you into a drama. And then when they say certain things, they get angry. I say, you know what? They're playing that passive aggressive game, and I do not play a passive aggressive game. So I don't deal with the person anymore. Come to me straight. Don't be passive aggressive.
Like I feel like that Dre may be a natural passive aggressive because people that try to be passive aggressive, then they end up having that point because they can't control their emotions.
But he don't have the emotion part.
Yes, because Dre's not trying to, so I feel like it's natural. It's because the person that says he's passive aggressive is really afraid of him.
Right, because passive aggressive people, they throw temper tantrums to me. I've never seen them throw a temper. That's what passive aggressive is. They don't get their way.
You know what I mean? Like you might not get your way or something. I'm like, I bet. You know what I mean? Like,
but that's not that. You have to be something else. Maybe passive aggressive. You have passive aggressive qualities, but it must be called something else. I wonder if it's called something else. Because when you don't get your way, you like, okay. But passive aggressive people, when they don't get their way, they find another way to manipulate.
They still trying to come from different angles.
Right. They either get angry, throw a temper tantrum. They like, well, I did this for you and you did that. That's the passive aggressive person. So I don't.
Because there's another point to where like it's kind of similar. I don't know the proper term for it, but I call it more of a sell tactic. It's like you said this, I did this, and off of what you said, now you have to do this.
But that's not passive aggressive.
I think we'll call it childish.
Huh?
I think we'll just label that as childish.
Yeah.
You're right.
Looking like that debate the
other day. Wait.
Man, that debate, I'm like, I hope no kids was looking at this debate because.
Like, yeah. It's like, hey, look, Timmy, one of these finna run our country for the next 4 years.
Right.
Like, but like, kind of how I feel like how people are manipulative. Like when I had read the Mystery Method and the game, it's like their manipulative qualities are so smooth, so studied, and they knew when to do it, to where it became so natural, to where it's like, this person may be manipulative, but the victim no longer cares.
Because I like with the Queen, what happened with the Queen in here, with the Queen, the Grand Duchess Catherine, what happened with her? She found out old boy was passive aggressive. So she was like, okay, watch, I'm about to play his game. Watch what I do. And then when he tried to come back, which was more of a sociopath acting way of person, she's like, no.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And like when you think about it, the king was very passive aggressive, but it was allowed for so long because of her feelings towards him.
Right. So do you think a passive aggressive person can get away with certain things because of the feeling of the other person, or how, even if it's friend or?
I feel like a passive aggressive person is an opportunist, a super opportunist, and it's like, okay, I found this out, now I can use this person for everything.
Like it's like I don't know if y'all ever watched that show, Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah.
The mama. The mama, she's very passive aggressive.
Right.
And try to compliment you and backhand you with the same sentence.
Right.
Like, oh, you actually cooked this meal good this time. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Right. Right. So it says, like just when you notice certain type of things, just know how to know. What I like about this, notice when certain things are happening. Notice when your buttons are getting pushed. Notice when somebody is trying to manipulate you, and then you end up, okay, I'm noticing what this character is doing.
And when you notice, like I ain't gonna lie, it kind of like takes the emotion out, and it makes you like see it a lot clearer. Like it's like watching a movie for the second time. You be like, man, how I didn't know this was the killer the whole time? Like, man, look at it, man, look at him. You know, like so when you like kind of got that in your head, which can like backfire too, because once if your mind made up already, you gonna make yourself see what you want to see. So I guess you gotta try to like still be in reality and don't just jump to one side to the other. Still look for it, but like you just notice it more. But don't just have your mind made up and just look for everything they do. Like, man, look at that. Look.
Right.
Over the eating cheese. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Or you're looking at certain things. So I like to just understand. You just seeing certain things. And now what he says right here, what he says, where is he at? Basically, it says you recognize this dynamic by your emotional need to somehow solve the problem, mixed with your complete frustration in finding any kind of reasonable answer. In truth, the only viable situation is to terminate the relationship. So basically, the only way that you should, with a passive aggressive person, they're gonna always be manipulative, trying to come somewhere. They're always gonna be that way. So you know what? I don't care if it's a job, if it's a friend, or if it's a relation. Or are you okay going in and out with a passive aggressive relationship and knowing that's the relationship for?
are you on the impossible dynamics?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like basically, like some people, you ain't gonna be able to manipulate them back. You ain't gonna be able to do a struggle on. Some people you just gotta leave alone.
Right.
Like just move on your life.
Like,
No compromising, no nothing. Just leave.
I feel like Dre would be more along the lines of on page 139 and 140 when he talked about Abraham Lincoln in an unjust situation, just to that extreme realist point.
Right. Yeah.
To being
that part. Yeah, more of that part.
like of saying, we can do this. Other than being a passive aggressive person, would be more of like they're gonna change their attitude.
Yeah.
And they're gonna hide who they are just to get you comfortable, to get you in, and then once they don't get their way, they've already controlled you to an extent. It's their end game. Like how Catherine, he thought, okay, once she didn't do something, now I'm gonna do something petty to make her realize it, and then now she's gonna do it because now I'm being mean. Now I'm being aggressive.
Yeah, but she just sat back and let them look stupid because she already got her ducks in a row on the other side.
Right.
Because people was already coming to her telling her about stuff. You know what I mean?
Like the true master of being passive aggressive, I feel like, or a true master in emotion and that manipulation would have went towards it and would have did something that is unexpected to distract her, to have distracted her from the real goal. So other than him just saying, I'm not going to give you no apples no more, and then finding out, he could have just went, all right, I'm going to keep doing this, but now I'm going to put this into the mix, into the equation to get a different result.
But that's not passive aggressive. That wouldn't be passive aggressive.
Yeah, that's master of manipulation.
Right. Yep. So it say, and also it said resist the temptation of feeling guilty. That's another thing people do. Someone done did you dirty, and then you come back and do the same thing, and then sometimes you feel guilty because you did it. I'm like, no. Mm-mm.
And I don't feel guilty at all. Like, the only people anyone should care about is the ones that are in their circle, the ones that are with them. Anybody else that doesn't have to be a part of your circle, why feel guilty about it?
Yep. I highlighted that last paragraph on page 144. That's the last chapter.
It is essential that you develop the reverse perspective. Life naturally involves conflicting interests. People have their own issues, their own agendas, and they collide with yours. Instead of taking this personally or concerning yourself with people's intentions, you must simply work to protect and advance yourself in this competitive game, this bloody arena. Focus your attention on their maneuvers and how to deflect them. When you have to resort to something that isn't conventionally moral, it is just another maneuver. This is actually, that entire paragraph is very enlightening.
Yeah, whole paragraph, yeah. Because I'm like, wait a minute, it's the whole paragraph.
Like, and it's funny because what this paragraph talks about is the book that's right behind you on the shelf, The Art of Human Nature.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You
Because
see?
that's what.
Do y'all have that book too? Y'all got that book? Y'all got that book down there? Oh, okay. You done read that book already?
I read it.
Oh, wow. You know how cool. You know how big this book is? Let me show you.
That book is like
500 pages.
that's a dictionary. Oh, it's up top.
Here. That's the 48 law.
Yeah, that's a dictionary. That's a Webster.
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay.
This book.
Wow,
It has some good stuff in it. It really does. It's bigger than 48 laws of power. So, okay, so are y'all ready to round up so we can end this? I think this week was more conversational. I like it. It flowed more conversational way. I like it. We got a chapter that says lead from the front, authority. So it's chapter 6.
Right up, right up.
Our page is still gray.
Yes, they are.
This camera be doing this. If I go left, it go right. This is a passive aggressive ass camera. That's what this is.
All right, you all. 2 weeks. See you all later. See. See. See.
Waiting to get in this game, could barely keep up with the reason. Been focused on eating and keeping my family together. You know,